Before we begin, in the spirit of reconciliation and respect, the InkGuild acknowledges that we live, work, and play on the traditional Treaty 7 territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Siksika, the Kainai, and the Piikani nations, as well as the Stoney Nakoda and the Tsuut'ina nations. This territory is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. Finally, we acknowledge all Indigenous and non-Indigenous to honor and celebrate this territory alongside us. Do we have an intro in mind?
Beer on my beard.
Okay. That could be a quick intro. Oh my god.
Just put me on display. Put my embarrassment on display. I'm just your jester. Is that right, Dean? I'm just your fucking clown. That's all I am to you. I'm just your fucking embarrassment clown to put on display for humiliation. You fucking sadist.
Lee, Brooke, are you glad you've joined yet?
Having second thoughts.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hey there.
Bonjour. My name is Dean and welcome back to the InkGuild Podcast. Just go to fucking therapy.
Don't correct me. I don't care.
Need to start a revolution.
I'm going to fucking explode if I don't say this by now.
She would challenge them to double dutch.
I'm going to summon up his spirit to fix all of this up for me.
You didn't have good enough tea and or comic books, so.
And you know what? I'm gonna say it.
All of them are fucking idiots.
Simply everyone is taking cocaine.
Just say your morning routine.
You're replicant remake.
I'm so excited to find out if Jughead got abducted by aliens or not.
Boneless.
Is your refrigerator running? Better go get it then.
Hello everybody. Welcome back to the InkGuild Podcast. I'm Dean, joined by Gabe.
Hello.
Tyler.
Bonjour.
And Marie-Soleil.
Hi.
We also have Lee and Brooke listening in for tonight, and oh, what a night this will be, because this is our least favorite characters part 2. If you're curious about how the last one went, me who's editing this, play a quick montage of not all of the swearing, just a bit of the swearing that we did in part 1. Just go to fucking therapy.
So deep, bro. I'm literally coming and farting and shitting that you've blown my brain with your Rick and Morty gamer brain. Fuck Makima.
All right, fuck Makima. For tonight, we have a speaking order. It'll be me first, then Gabe, then Marie-Soleil, then Tyler. All of that starts after we first do dishonorable mentions, which, because tonight is least favorite episodes, no one has to do this, but I'm certainly going to do it with all my picks. I'm going to say fuck and then the character's name. So for my dishonorable mentions, I have quite the list. Let me pull it up. So first things first, because they weren't able to join us tonight, for Alex, fuck Will Herondale. Fuck Bookmal from Shadow and Bone. Fuck Monokuma from Danganronpa. Fuck Sang-woo from Squid Game. Fuck everyone from Artemis Fowl. And fuck the Legion from Fallout New Vegas. And for Mari, fuck A2 from Nier Automata. She doesn't like her. She doesn't. I know.
I can hear the tears rolling down Gabe's face right now.
My queen.
We need to have a debate between the two of them, but why?
Oh my god. Okay, look, dishonorable mentions. These are just dishonorable mentions. I can't explain.
We don't have to have this discourse now.
We can't have this discourse right now.
Yeah, not now, but
Yeah,
like
we
at some point. I
yeah, we
want to
can
see
have
this
some
really
point.
talk about it.
At some point.
She's willing to do it.
Guild.
She will do it. She will debate you, Gabe. Okay, anyway, Gabe, speaking of you, your dishonorable mentions,
Speaking of me.
please.
My dishonorable. Okay. I have a long list. I'm just going to rattle through them. Bev Keen from Midnight Mass. I don't like her. Jace from Arcane. Peacemaker's dad from Peacemaker. The entire cast of Marvel's Eternals. Ashley Williams from Mass Effect. Everard Clare from Disco Elysium. Measurehead from Disco Elysium. Idiot Doom Spiral from Disco Elysium. Class J from Disco Elysium. Ancient Reptilian Brain from Disco Elysium. Electrochemistry from Disco Elysium. Griffith from Berserk. Zeke Yeager from Attack on Titan. Charles Z. Britannia from Code Geass. Shinkai from Code Geass, Table from Code Geass, Season 2 of Avatar The Legend of Korra, and Caesar from Fallout New Vegas.
Whew, don't you like Disco Elysium? Hold on.
I love Disco Elysium.
Okay, good. Just checking.
It is a game filled with terrible people.
All right, Marie-Soleil, you're up.
So this is dishonorable mentions, right?
Mm-hmm. Dishonorable mentions, yeah.
First, Twilight, Edward and Jacob both, and Jasper. Toss him in there as well.
That's a funny way of saying everyone.
Yeah, pretty much everybody in Twilight. I mean, a couple of the humans get a pass because they're just stupid. But also, we don't really get much character information on most of the humans. Movie Charlie is a lot better than book Charlie, though. Anyway, for all of the most of the characters from the House of Night books, if not all of them, I'm sorry, my mind just went blank.
That's all right. It's all right.
We'll just leave it at that.
Tyler, you're up now for dishonorable mentions.
Okay, so fuck the entirety of the Witcher Netflix series. I've already yelled about that enough, though. I will not get any louder just yet, I promise. Fuck Paul Atreides from Dune. God, is he a flat character. Fuck Corypheus from Dragon Age Inquisition. What a weak villain of ultimate evil that was. Fuck Kylo Ren. Actually, fuck the entire sequels trilogy of Star Wars. Fuck Fabian Voss and Danton Voss from Empire of the Vampire. Fuck Faustus Blackwood from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And those are all just my examples of bad characters. Good characters that I actually hate. Actually, Fabian Voss is one of those. Again, so many to mention. Fuck Alex from Clockwork Orange. Fantastically well written. God, is he a piece of shit. Good enough for now. I'm sure I will have more for our ending section, as I think.
Mm-hmm. All right. Lee, Brooke, if you guys have any dishonorable mentions, even though you two are just listening in, Lee, do you have any ones to shout out?
Rochester from Jane Eyre can go fuck himself. Edward and Bella from Twilight can go throw themselves off a cliff. I mean, one of them did it canonically, but I don't want to deal with the aftermath of that. The Joker as a concept needs to be taken away from all comic book writers ever for 5 years. He just needs to be put in the timeout box. Nick Carraway from Great Gatsby and Richard from the Sword of Truth series can all just go die on a hill.
I thought dying on hills was your job, Lee.
I die on hills defending my opinions, and I actually kill people for them. So, they can go die in a sad, unopinionated hill.
Awesome. Now we have 2 murder confessions on the InkGuild channel. That's a weird thing to say out of context. I'm joking.
Not prove anything.
Yeah, federal government, I'm joking. Those are all jokes. We have not confessed to any murders.
Confesses to murder in-game? Confesses to murder in-game only?
Okay, Brooke, do you have any dishonorable mentions?
Nate from Euphoria. Pong Krell from Star Wars The Clone Wars. And Caleb Gar from Wild Geese. Those are all that come to my mind.
Wild Geese?
Yeah, I just had to read it for class, and I have never hated a man so much. I mean, I have, actually. I've never hated a fictional man so much in my life.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm sure Well, thanks, guys. And Lee, Brooke, now they're going to be listening in for the episode. And as for the four of us, we're ready to start with our main picks. And I will need a second because I need to just muster the energy that I have and truly dunk on this character the way that I want to. Fuck the grandmother from Encanto.
We watched that recently, and yes.
Oh my god. Why is it that the entire point of you've been given a fucking miracle and yet you disregard your own goddamn granddaughter? Oh my god. It hurts me so much. It pains me so much because everything, this is a character, the Abuela, I think that's how her name is, but let's just say the grandmother for now. So she is a woman that has lost quite a lot. You feel for her, and after being given literal miracles through a candle that never goes out and an incredible reputation amongst the town based on the gifts that her family has, it is such a nice exploration of reputation and influence, but at the same time greed and selfishness, because as the story progresses, Abuela is so clearly terrified of losing the house, losing the influence, losing the respect and the love of the town more than she is about her own family, which is incredibly ironic considering the influence of the family and the fact that it's just such a really thing. I've kind of just lost my train of thought because this is a character that you're supposed to not be okay with. You're essentially isolating your own flesh and blood because they don't have powers, and they have this own quest that is centered around, they have their destiny defined by someone that she essentially outcasted. Fucking the grandmother just cast Bruno away without any concern or disregard, and I'm like, huh? Why? How is any of this fucking justified? And
you're forgetting one rule: we don't talk about Bruno.
Fuck. Okay. Well, oh my god, I'm so sorry. So
continue your rant. Continue.
Okay, so now that I've kind of just spat out all of my nonsense, my main hatred and my main least favoritedness with the grandmother from Encanto is because it's a pretty justifiable stance in that you understand it completely, but you just can't help but be mad watching it as it all unfolds. The influence from this, the influence and reputation from the villager, or from the village, around the Madrigal family and around the house, this place of miracles. I can understand completely that someone who wants to preserve that honesty and loyalty and trust within the town would be like that, but at the same time, that's your own family. The whole point of that family and the love for that family is the family itself. And to see the grandmother just be like, yeah, look, this quest that you're on, don't do it, the house is gonna break and we're gonna lose everything. I'm like, you're gonna lose the family by continuing to be so selfish and greedy. And when, by the end of it, when she has the moment with Mirabelle down by the river where everything was explained, like, I felt for her. I did. And when everything and when there was this, like, when it was starting to wrap up and things were coming to a nice conclusion, like, it's so like, it's a really nice arc for this character in a movie, and it continues to be like one of my favorite things about like Disney animation movies, especially Disney musicals like Encanto. It just has a really nice story in between all of the songs and all of the visuals behind it, and it's a gorgeous movie. But just and this is unrelating to things. This is unrelating to like the grandmother character specifically, but I fucking hate the last few minutes of that story, or of that movie. And some people may disagree with me, but if the whole point, like, if the whole focus of the movie was that the magic and the miracles that these families were performing were some things that they don't need anymore by the end of it, and they've had to reconstruct the house by themselves and essentially just live life without magic anymore, and just live for the people that they're surrounded by, because they already have the love and influence from the people. Why the fuck do they get all their magic back?
I completely agree with you. My God, the ending of that felt so rushed and pushed. Holy shit! Because then maybe it's just me looking too much into a movie that has. It's supposed to be a nice conclusion. It's supposed to be, but at the same time, the magic is what drove like the influence in the magic is what drove like Abuela, the grandmother, to feel so responsible for the village and feel so responsible and honor good reputations. Like, it consumed her. The fact that there were literal miracles being performed, and that was enough to overlook the family. So if this is just some kind of deeper meaning and the whole cycle is just going to repeat into this never-ending like learning nonsense, that could be interesting. But for ending aside, just the grandmother is written at her core a character that initially had good intentions, but after years of everything being so perfect, one member of her own family challenges the entire thing, and she decides to end up choosing the reputation over her family, and I don't fucking agree with that. So for that reason, fuck the grandmother from Encanto. I have a more passionate rant later on, but any questions? So, one comment. Abuela is grandmother in Spanish. We don't actually know her name.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, this is not related to Abuela at all. But this is a theory, now that we're speaking about Encanto, that I have to absolutely share, because I've yelled at both Marie-Soleil and Lee about this.
Multiple times.
Mirabelle does have magic. You want to know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
She is a fucking chaos goddess trickster entity that when she walks around people, they are forced to start singing out their problems in musical to her, and all of reality conforms to fit the choreography.
So there's no music before Mirabelle. Mirabelle like literally creates.
Oh, there's music, but when she goes up to Luisa and Luisa just starts singing her problems in that fantastic pressure song, and the donkeys start dancing, and they're going through this psychedelic trip where she's physically lifting mountains with a black backdrop. No, Mirabelle took her to a demi-plane and has forced her poor family to dance and sing to her whims. But otherwise, also, fuck Abuela.
So
I don't know about the whole trickster thing, but I mean, she is a Disney princess.
No,
so,
it's entirely not the truth. I have fun thinking that is her actual power.
I hate to say it, if that were the case, wouldn't Abuela be right?
Wouldn't Abuela be right about her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
If that were the case.
New Disney conspiracy. Anyways.
Oh my god, just that's funny to think about. And maybe it would make the story like that much more interesting. And to be honest, like before I pass it off to Gabe, while I'm still talking about Encanto, I wish that movie had been longer.
Yes. It feels like it needed at least 10 to 15 more minutes to
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying when I watched it with Mari. Just I really wanted it to be longer because like Mirabelle's arc felt complete. Mirabelle's parents' arcs felt a little bit it felt like that could have been expanded a little bit more. Abuela's character arc felt complete. Mirabelle's sisters, their arcs felt all right. Like those are pretty decent arcs. And as for the rest of the family, like I forget what her name is, but the mom with the gift of the like constantly
Peppa.
Peppa. Yeah. Peppa. So her and her husband had a nice duet, but ultimately just didn't really ever know that much about them. Like I don't know, for a movie with such a vibrant and like beautiful family and a lot of rich history behind it too, it really could have benefited from another maybe 10-15 minutes. And that's not to say that's not to say that it would have changed my perspective on the movie. Like I really do like Encanto despite the last few minutes of it. That's really my only gripe with it. But like, oh my god, I really applaud the writers for how they handled Abuela's character, because just I hate it so much. And like it's a good kind of hate, but anyway,
a good kind of hate. Yes, let the hate flow through you.
Were you gonna say something, Gabe?
I mean, yeah, I feel like Dolores and Camilo could have definitely done with like a little bit more screen time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the impression that that either of them really had to deal with like the same kind of family pressure. I mean, honestly, my biggest thing I had with the movie, not a problem per se, but just like a thing that I was thinking about while I was watching it, I don't understand necessarily what pressure Dolores and Camila would be under. Like she can hear real good, and he's a shapeshifter. They're just kind of they're like goofy pranksters. They're not really like, I feel like and I mean shit, maybe this is just my brain, and like they're obviously it's because they have powers they're treated better, but like I don't see how they're like what the reason would be to treat them better than Mirabelle. And obviously it's because they have powers, but it's like
you're useful to Abuela. With Dolores, she can hear everything that's going on in the town. So Abuela knows everything that's going on in the town. When she's talking about like, when's the proposal going to happen? Oh, tonight. He also wants 5 kids.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that is true.
It's really useful when you're like, because they're pretty much running this entire town, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really useful to know what everybody is talking about in town. I don't know how Camilo is useful though.
He's there. Yeah. He's the spy. He's a shapeshifter. He
can be babies' mothers and steal babies. He literally does it in one of the scenes, people. He's stealing babies.
Oh my god.
I love that his shapeshifting isn't restricted to like an equivalent mass. He could just become someone 10 times his size if he wants to.
Right? Mm-hmm. He's just wild.
Yeah.
Might I just say, every arc felt kind of okay, except they left Bruno exiled for like 10 years, and Dolores fucking hears him in the walls the entire time. She knows he's there and does fuck all, bitch! Your brother is in the walls!
Uncle,
I don't give a fuck! What the fuck?
I'm living in your walls.
The moment Antonio knows that there's somebody in the walls, the moment the rats tell Antonio, he's like, I'll help. You can use my room.
Exactly.
Told me what's going on.
Oh man.
So, yeah.
I haven't.
Poor Bruno.
Yeah. Poor character that we don't talk about.
Who will not be named.
Yeah. I just thought of an idea. It's kind of like a closing thing, but just like maybe something to think about. When we think. Okay. When we when we do the musicals episode as a spin-off, we should do a Disney musicals episode.
Yes.
Dear Lord, I have a lot of opinions on Disney musicals. But anyway, that was my section on Encanto. Gabe, I'll pass it off to you now.
Yes, I'm going to talk about a certain boy, a certain sunshine boy who I have recently found out is a controversial opinion of mine. Fuck Suzaku Kururugi.
You watch your step.
Let him talk.
Listen, here's the thing about Suzaku Kururugi. He is a centrist. Need I say more? He is a listen. Here's my thing about my thing with Suzaku. Suzaku's more in the category of like, he's not a character who I dislike the writing of. He is a character who I completely understand his purpose in the show. He's a foil to Lelouch. He's just too good at being a foil to Lelouch. He is constantly simping for imperialism and genocide. He will just straight up watch the Britannia's mechs massacre throngs of people and go like, oh, well, you know, if we fight against that, we're just as bad. Every time that he opens his mouth and starts saying an opinion about Britannia or arguing with Lelouch, I want to smack him across the face. I feel like he's so goddamn stupid. This is the dumbest boy in the world. He is. Oh, every time I think about him, he just fills me with pants shitting rage. I can't stand seeing him.
That's a very specific rage.
Yeah, holy fuck.
I can't stand him. I can't stand him and his non-confrontational. Lelouch. You can't have class consciousness because that makes us just as bad. I hate him so much. I don't really have an in-depth breakdown of Lelouch the same way I do of my second character. But not Lelouch, Suzaku. But like, yeah, he's just kind of a dickhead.
Okay, so I haven't progressed in Code Geass past episode 1, so yeah, I don't really have much of a opinion here about a centrist. Oh my fucking god,
he's a total centrist. His whole purpose in the show is to like act as a foil for Lelouch and his crazy Dracula revolution. And his way of acting as a foil is by Suzaku is basically like, do you know that meme where it's like there's like Black Lives Matter protesters and then like a group of like KKK people pointing a gun at them and then a guy in the middle saying like, well, you know, there's arguments for both sides. That's Suzaku.
Oh my god.
So as someone who's watched all of Code Geass through, I'm actually a little bit late for my annual rewatch. You're not wrong. I just don't know why you necessarily can't stand him for it. 'Cause it's like, how do I put this? I've got a character that I can't stand because he's written so that you can't stand him. That's the point. It's a good character like that. Suzaku's a great character, and I'm glad you did say that he is a great character because he is the perfect foil for Lelouch.
Oh, he's a great character. Code Geass is an amazingly written series.
Fantastic show. But like, can't stand Suzaku because of his opinions. That's an interesting one. I have never heard it until you said it on chat yesterday, and I was nearly filled with pants shitting rage as you described. You're right, like I've said, but it doesn't make me not stand him. It actually makes me really like him because imagine if it was just Lelouch and there was no.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
How terrible would the show be? Just
the show would be dog shit. It would be dog shit.
It would be terrible. It'd be another Death Note. Anyways. Yeah, how you like that one?
I really need to get more into, or I really need to progress into Code Geass, because
You know what's crazy about what you said about watching Code Geass, Dean, is that you said you only watched it like to episode 1. So, from your perspective, Suzaku is dead. That's how little. That's how little of Code Geass you watch.
Wow. All right,
Fuck, you're right.
That's new to me. Wow, that confuses things even more.
I know. This is why I always say you have, when you're watching it, when you're starting a new anime, you have to watch 3 episodes. You cannot get a good basis of it from just the first episode. If
I mean, yeah,
Code Geass is a great example.
No, I mean, yeah, like I accounted for what you and Alex said, the 3 episode rule, but seriously, I was watching it with Mari, and neither of us could have gotten it, or neither of us were able to buy into it, and it's largely thing. I think it's largely just on, like, for me, like I don't fucking know. I think I maybe just need to get into it. I think I just need to get into it more, but like, I don't know what it was about, and this is kind of unrelating to Suzaku, but like, I don't know who Suzaku is, but like, for Lelouch, since we're talking least favorite characters, I don't know what about him rubs me the wrong way, but not a good first impression. It's kind of boring, I think.
Boring?
Like, there's intrigue there. Like he's on to something, but the last time that I remember watching Lelouch, I was like, what the fuck?
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm all for like different opinions about stuff. Like, if you watched Code Geass and you just didn't like Lelouch, I could totally get that. I could totally be like, yeah, I could totally see where you're coming from. But boring?
So
I'm so curious about that.
First episode, Lelouch does nothing. He is 100% boring.
Yeah,
I guess that's true in the first episode.
Yeah, and again, like, that's because I haven't followed the 3 episode rules, so that might change when I decide to give it a proper watch. But
yes, Lelouch is the most dramatic character ever brought to film.
I was gonna say, like, he, like, in thing, I don't know what this says about how I consume media and how I interpret it, but if I know him famously for the I'm at soup meme, then there has to be some reason as to why that character specifically was there.
Okay, so one quick thing. There is one anime that I know, at least, that breaks the watch 3 episodes. It's High School of the Dead. You watch the first episode, you know what you're in for. You don't need to watch anymore.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, the I'm at soup meme. Oh boy, that's a hell of an explanation. So that's actually from an abridged series of Code Geass that never finished. So that's not in the fucking show at all.
Well, yeah, I know that. Like, I figured, but at the same time, like, just I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure an anime production company wouldn't leave that in. Seriously, they may have.
Yeah, they could.
I plan to pleasure myself with this fish.
Okay.
You're sure they wouldn't leave soup in?
Okay. Well, guess that's all the knowledge I have on Code Geass. So,
all I gotta say about Lelouch is that okay, so you know that he's like a. I mean, when we talked about how like Code Geass is sort of like a better Death Note earlier, when we were talking about how like without Suzaku it would just be Death Note.
Mm-hmm.
Lelouch, a great way to describe Lelouch is that he's like, imagine if Light had no off switch. Imagine like a big part of the Death Note series is that like Light is constantly having to like sort of acts as though he's like a normal person, and he's like trying to behave like a normal person. There's that TikTok sound where he's like, no, I can't left yet, I have to hold it in. Lelouch is imagine if Light didn't have that off switch, and he just always talked like a Shakespearean actor on full blast at all times. He moves and acts like the hammiest motherfucker on the planet. This has gone very quickly from Suzaku hate to Lelouch standing, but
I was gonna say, I was gonna try to find a way to tie it back to Suzaku. I'm like, how does this relate to Suzaku?
This does not relate to Suzaku. So yes. But yeah, fuck Suzaku. I hate centrists. If your opinion on any political issue is that both sides are right, I can't say I'll kill you because this is a broadcast. We go to jail for saying things like that. But I'm enjoy the next 45 minutes. I'm done.
We'll kill you in game.
In the IHOP parking lot.
I'm in your walls.
Parking lots aren't real.
Oh, God. All right. So thanks, Gabe, for your first pick. Marie-Soleil, it's you now.
It's up to you.
It's up to
So
you.
I mentioned all of the characters in the House of Night, but I'm going to talk about one of them in particular, and that's Professor Loren Blake. Loren Blake is a special snowflake, amid special snowflakes, but he is also a pedophile.
Nope, that's it. Yeah, nope, that's all I need to hear. Kill him.
Oh, he does die.
Okay, good.
So basically, his character is that he is the youngest vampire poet
laureate.
Because this House of Night is vampire high school, basically. And he's unusually young for this position at only 25 years old, and that is like chronological age, not like he's a 400-year-old vampire who looks like he's 25. He is only 25 years old. Which I think they made it that way so that it would be less creepy when he has a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God.
Not only does he like groom her and then approach her at like her most vulnerable moments, like she goes to meet with her grandmother for her 17th birthday and gets waysided by her mother, who she does not have a good relationship with, has a very bad day. He shows up and gives her diamond earrings afterwards. Point to anybody under the age of like 18. If a teacher at your high school gives you diamond earrings, tell your parents, tell the principal, go to the police. You can have a good relationship with your teachers. You can be almost like friends, but that goes a little too far. And then they proceeded to have a romantic relationship, only for her to find out that he is in league with the evil, the principal of the school. Yeah. Headmistress of the school, I guess. She's evil. He's in league with her. He is using Zoe because Zoe, the main character, is the chosen one, basically. Another special snowflake among special snowflakes. Yeah. He breaks her heart, and then because they have this special emotional connection because he drank her blood, when he goes to find her because he's sad, the evil priestess kills him because she's like, you can't have the both of us. So you die. He wanted both. He wanted his relationship with the priestess and the relationship with the 17-year-old. And the priestess was like, no, you can't do that. I might not be explaining this to the best, but like, best of my abilities, but he's an asshole. And I will talk about the House of Night. I'm trying not to talk too much about the House of Night book series because I will go off on that for like hours. So yeah, that's what I will say about Professor Loren Blake. Any questions?
To Professor Loren Blake. You know what? Fuck you. I'm not even going to pronounce your name right. I'm calling the police.
FBI, open up!
I'm
sorry. Vampire FBI, open up!
No, vampire FBI, open up! Let me in first!
Please invite us in!
Also, this isn't about the books at all, but like the author of the Wikipedia page, because I didn't want to reread the books for this, so I just gave him the Wikipedia page because I couldn't remember whatever happened to this guy. I forgot he died because that's just yeah. I think a 12-year-old wrote this, so I kind of want to rewrite it, but that's just besides the point.
Vampire media is so strange for things like this because once you start getting into ages that last centuries, yeah, things get weird.
And they stuck with a lot of vampire tropes, but then they wanted to make it their own, so they completely subverted it while sticking to a bunch of tropes. It's really, really weird.
I'd like to formally announce that if you are an author who believes and actively uses the forbidden love trope, I fucking hate you. I'm coming over in 45 minutes.
In game.
No.
I will fight you in the IHOP parking lot in game.
I will take my boxing glove wrappings off. It's bare knuckle behind a Denny's, motherfucker.
In game.
Yes.
Oh.
It's Mike Tyson's Punch Out, except it's me beating up the worst people in society.
The Sims. We need to make these guys in The Sims and then just like lock them in a basement.
You know what? For every author who is like using the forbidden love trope in any capacity that is related, that is any. You know what? Fuck you. I don't care. I don't care for cohesion. I'm mad at you. I'm gonna call your mom.
Every author who uses the forbidden love trope, I'm going to forbid you from leaving your home.
Scene. The House of Night is written by a mother and daughter duo.
I'm taking the kid away. I'm calling Child Protective Services. I'm calling Child Protective Services. You know. No, okay, that one I'm kidding. That one I'm kidding.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she's an adult by now, but like, yeah.
Whew. Damn.
They're also they're making a TV series for the House of Night, and I swear, if you'll allow me, I will do an episode on the House of Night. Please.
Do a PowerPoint.
I will make a PowerPoint that will envy Gabe's.
Oh. You know what?
No. You misheard.
That's the wrong term.
You misheard. So that will make Gabe's jealous if you want to be better than Gabe's. That will envy Gabe's if you think Gabe's are better.
No, this will be better than Gabe's.
There we go. So she was throwing shade.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fucking challenge to me.
Oh god. PowerPoint off. Go. All right.
Oh my god. Just as a teaser for season 7, it's all PowerPoints.
Yes!
It's not a podcast, it's a PowerPoint cast.
It's a power podcast.
He writes poetry about her.
A pod point.
I forgot that.
What?
He writes poetry about her because he's this big poet. So he writes poetry about her, and it's just so creepy.
Aw, I can't wait to see the roses that he holds when he's in the ground. Okay. Okay. Marie-Soleil, are you done?
I am done.
Yes. I didn't mean to say that rudely. I'm sorry. Just
No, it's okay. I get
it. Okay. I'm sorry. I got really heated there for a little bit.
Are you done?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
Oh, that was great.
I'm so sorry.
Are you done?
Heartbroken. I think
I'm sorry.
And I'm taking Tyler with me.
Oh, excuse you.
I brought you to this podcast. I can take you out.
Oh my god.
I'm done.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be that mean.
Katie, I love you. It's okay.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Moving on then, Tyler. Whenever you're ready.
I'd like to change my least favorite character to Marie-Soleil, who says she wants to take me out of the podcast. Mom, don't lock me in my room. No, let me talk to my friends. Anyways, no.
Oh, is that what the special room in your house is?
That's what the room in the basement is.
That's what the room in the basement is? That's where she locks me up when I'm being bad.
I mean, there's an actual lock on that door.
There is an
and we
actual
don't
lock.
have one on our bedroom door.
It's true. Anyways, enough about our personal lives. My first character is Baron Vladimir Harkonnen from Dune. Specifically, 1965 Dune, the book, not either of the movie adaptations I care not to speak about because I have yet to actually go through and watch them both. So, in book, Vladimir Harkonnen, I dislike him. You're supposed to dislike him. He is written as a horrible human being, and it is done very well. One of my favorite parts of the book is actually his villainy. You'll notice one of my honorable mentions was his counterpart, the protagonist, Paul Atreides from Dune. One of my dishonorable mentions. Because Paul is flat as shit and doesn't do much, but Baron Harkonnen is vibrant and vile, and it's fantastically done. He's basically the sins of gluttony and lust to some extent, and wrath and a few others personified into a villain that's not ultimately, the ultimate evil. He is a scheming, conniving political figure who believes that he is above absolutely everyone and everything else. And he thinks he is far more clever than all others combined. And there are moments where it's actually shown that he is indeed extremely clever, despite what his exterior is described, and who is seen as a bit of a lout and incompetent in some points. There's only one thing I really dislike about the character, and that's the hardcore fat phobia that the author uses to describe him.
Oh my
God.
God.
Every scene with him is describing how unbelievably obese he is and how he basically has a special belt technology to keep him standing because he wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. Now, that's definitely fat phobic and definitely fat shaming, but it also brings to the interesting thing where that's not the characteristic that makes him a villain. It's done in a villainous way, but it would be the same character if you took that away. It's a strange point for me because at a certain angle, I like it because anyone can be a villain. It's not the traits of our body that make us villains. It's our actions. And his actions are what make him villain. But at the same time, the author didn't have to make him unbelievably obese to have him be a villain. He just did. And going back to first and second wave sci-fi, there's a lot of problems with the genre in general. But otherwise, I do like Harkonnen because he does things. Throughout the books, the first book, because he's dead at the end of it, he's doing political plots throughout the whole thing. When you go to his perspective, you're seeing his connivingness, you're seeing his really ruthlessness and his planning. And then when you go back to Paul doing literally nothing on Arrakis for like 3 years, you can actually see the Baron's machinations working from a first-hand perspective. In a way, the entire plot of the book is done through the Baron doing things and not Paul, and that's a very good villain. He also doesn't die like a little bitch like everyone else in the fucking series does. Everyone else has super anticlimactic deaths that feel like they're just thrown away into the wind whenever the author forgets to write about them some more. But Vladimir lasts until the very end, when the daughter of the man he kills at the beginning murders his ass with the Gom Jabbar, and she's basically physically a toddler. There's in-universe reasons for this, but he goes out hard and violent and cathartic, and it's a fantastically well-done villain. He's also a murdering, rapist, pedophile piece of shit who has drugged up sex slaves in his basements. This is full canon, by the way, and it just goes to show that the power of nobility is corrupt and fucked up and very well done in display. Hooray. There. A villain that I like to hate.
Oh, wow.
He's a lot. There is a lot about him. There is so much about him in the books that is almost more about him than it is about Paul.
Is he like the main villain then?
Yes. I'd say he's the main antagonist, truthfully. His inciting incident is he attacks the rival family, the Atreides, which is Paul's family, and kills off most of them, except for Paul and his mother and his unborn sister, including the father, most of the household staff, a couple of their allies die that you get to know for the first couple of chapters, and then he takes over their holdings, basically, in a hostile takeover. There's a lot of politics in Dune, tons of politics in Dune. It is not just about doing drugs in the desert. It is partially about that, however. And then you see a lot of him as he's working machinations to further his own goals in the greater empire that is Dune, around the spice and with the emperor and his heirs of succession and all this sorts of stuff. Well, like I said, Paul mainly just wanders around the desert doing drugs. One character is doing so many interesting things, vile and evil things, but they're doing things. Paul doesn't do shit. Questions, concerns?
Oh, I have a lot of concerns.
I know, my mental health is failing. Thank you for noticing, Dean. I have concerns too.
No, not that. Just, oh God.
Oh, this isn't Tyler's therapy? Damn it.
That being said, Tyler, just, you're always welcome to talk to us if there's shit going on. But anyway.
Yeah, Marie-Soleil's trying to lock me in the room in the basement and take me away from the podcast. Come on!
You can't prove it.
Fight me in the Denny's. Anyways.
I will. We're going to Denny's, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I can go for Denny's. Continue.
Okay. Is the rest of Dune's, character... obviously, I know nothing about Dune's world and, world building stuff, but holy shit, how intense does the series get?
So here's the thing. I wouldn't actually recommend anyone read Dune. I enjoyed it for what it was, and it gave us space worms. We have space worms in absolutely everything now. Giant worms are a fucking trope of sci-fi, all because of Frank Herbert. And it's a very interesting trope. But that's not what Dune is about. It's actually meant to be a sort of Lawrence of Arabia referencing, don't fuck with the Middle East. Because, the spice is basically representative of oil, and the Sieges of Fremen are the Middle Eastern peoples, with the empire being, the United States and stuff like that. It's a very interesting allegory for it. There's two good knife fights in Dune. There is a lot of future visions and dream quests in Dune. There's a lot of political machinations in Dune. But overall, Frank Herbert did a really fantastic job world building a desert planet and an empire around it and his whole spice. He did a really good job designing interesting political schemes, but it's not fun to read. It's actually really dry, and that's saying something. It's a book about a fucking desert planet. Of course it's supposed to be dry, but I liked Vladimir Harkonnen and almost no one else. The heir apparent for him, a little bit weak, dies like a bitch. Paul, flat as can be. Paul's younger sister, really cool concept, never elaborated on. Paul's mother does one cool thing. Paul's dad dies like a bitch. Specialty assassin that Vladimir Harkonnen has on his employ dies like a bitch really early after being touted as the best of the best. There's some really good things about Dune. I just wish it wasn't done in a narrative style because it didn't work, in my opinion. It's a big book and it's a slog, and there's even a 2-year time skip in there that I think shouldn't have been in there, because if the author had written that 2-year time skip out like a regular narrative, the book might have been better. So there's a lot in Dune, but not a lot of it is actually fun to read.
Mm-hmm.
Harkonnen is, like I said, one of the better parts of it because he is a truly good villain that is written very well, and you are supposed to hate him. And you get little inklings of his villainy throughout. Like I mentioned, that whole like drugged up sex slave pin that is mentioned just barely at the end of one of his chapters, but it's done in such a way that it makes your stomach fucking turn. And then it's not brought up again. You know that's in there. And now you've seen little hints of it when you go back and think through his character, and it makes sense. But it's not really that elaborated on. Just like everything else in Dune to some extent. Anyways. There. I've gone my... I didn't yell as much as The Witcher. I thought I was going to yell a bit more. But I guess I actually like Harkonnen and don't like Dune, so...
Gabe, are you familiar with Dune at all, or?
Read Dune.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I think Baron. I agree completely. Baron Harkonnen fucking sucks. The only thing I hate more than Baron Harkonnen is how the most recent film adaptation insists on pronouncing his last name. I like that movie, but every time Josh Brolin or Oscar Isaac goes Harkonnen, I want to die.
Oh my god, do they really?
They all call him. They all refer to the Harkonnens as the Harkonnens, and I'm like, it hurts.
It doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right at all. Harkonnen sounds so much more threatening and menacing and villainous. Harkonnen sounds
like that in the original movie. Did they pronounce it like that in?
I don't know. I barely paid attention to the original movie.
I still have to watch them now that I've finished reading the actual book, so I do not know.
The 80s Dune movie is a fucking riot. It lost me the minute I saw it. Have you seen the effects for the force fields in the 80s Dune movie?
No.
They're insane. Okay, holy shit. I'm going to send a GIF. I'm going to see if I can find it. It's unbelievable. It's like the way that they did it makes them look like fucking. I can't find a GIF for it in the Discord GIF tab, but they look like Roblox characters basically.
Oh god.
What? Hang on.
So, here's an explanation in universe really quickly of why there are force fields in Dune. Frank Herbert really wanted to have knife fighting for some reason. I don't know the exact reason. And the knife fights are done really well. But the reason you knife fight is because everyone is wearing personal force fields that you can't shoot a bullet through. And if you shoot them, oh my god, that's terrifying. And if you shoot them with laser rifle, it basically creates a nuclear explosion. So you have to use a knife that has to enter the force field slower than a gunshot, basically, so that it tricks the force field into letting this knife in. It's a really roundabout way of saying I wanted space knife fights. And again, I don't know why he did it. Besides, he was really trying to say don't nuclear war things with the whole nuclear blast thing a deal. But then he uses nuclear bombs, basically, at one point in the final battle. So I guess nukes are okay now. Yeah. So in universe, force fields are very, very strange. And those are not what I envisioned at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure that is completely antithesis to how the force fields were written to look.
It's so funny.
What kind of Doctor Strange mirror dimension bullshit is that?
It's not often that the David Lynch comes out in David Lynch's Dune movie, but this is one of those times. That's my other problem with that movie. Actually, it doesn't feel like his heart was in it.
Right. I mean, if you just spent a whole while reading through the Dune book, my heart wouldn't be in much either.
Sure.
Anyways, I'll be done with my Harkonnen and Dune rants. If we seem to be talking a lot about why we hate series as well as characters, which I'm okay with, because when we get to my second character, I got a long rant about the series he's attached to as well. But I'll pass it off.
Okay, so it's back to me now. And oh my god, I was hesitant on in the few days leading up to this conversation, I was hesitant on if I was going to talk about Abuela or Bookmal, because I had conflicting feelings about both of them. I like both of them, but at the same time, none of them, and I mean, or neither of them, has ever made me want to, let's just say that my character now, I've never wanted to hug a character more while simultaneously wanting to break both of their fucking kneecaps. Anyone here ever heard of BoJack Horseman?
Oh,
Yes.
So, Mari introduced this series to me a little while ago, and her and I are now midway through season 5. So we're on episode 7 of season 5. And oh my fucking god, I love-hate this character so goddamn much. Just for the sheer thing, for the unfortunate upbringing that he had, to the even more unfortunate circumstances that he, like, unfortunately puts himself and his friends through, like, throughout the series. His selfishness, his arrogance, the clear manipulation, and just the destructive tendencies that he puts himself through. I know full well that is not that is not his wanting. He wants to be a good person. I still remember from all the way back in season 1 where he was, like, saying to Diane in the board of ghostwriters thing, that he just wanted to be told that he was good. And I felt that. Like, I felt like I resonated with that. And still, beyond all of that, what he did to Herbert, what he did to Penny, what he did to Todd, what he did to Diane, what he does to Mr. Peanut Butter, what he does to people that love him, that care for him, that are only trying their best to do it, and beyond his own thing, beyond his own control sometimes, and even within his control, the destructiveness that, like, BoJack has, and is, like, I acknowledge is trying to fight, is so complex to watch. Because, like, BoJack, for those who have seen BoJack, has gone through quite a lot. He has had an extremely, like, upsetting and I want to say, like, dysfunctional or just abusive household, and that kind of abuse from his mother and his father, like, knowing how those two met too and how that's influenced BoJack all his life. Like, it's so sad to see, because as a kid you see BoJack as this innocent kid who, like, just wanted to be appreciated, who just wanted to have his own time, who sought comfort in seeing Secretariat as his idol, as his hero, and for the longest time still aspired to be that. So there is still some part of BoJack's innocence and childhood that is trying to, like, hold on to itself, but at the same time, like, the shit that his parents have put him through, all of the ridicule and all of the victim complexes that they have, like, this is all, like, I remember from the series, like, his mom saying, "My body was once beautiful, but then you came." It's like, that's fucked. I fucking hate that. And on top of that, like, the father being not just distant, but also, like, verbally abusive to the mother and to BoJack in the few times that he was present, was awful. Like, it's no wonder that BoJack was exposed, or, like, has a lot of, like, unfortunately terrible tendencies that he has throughout the series, because of that uncomfortable and unfortunate life that he's lived. And all of that hurts to see when it affects good characters, like, good characters who mean well. I can't fucking forgive him for what he did to Todd. I especially can't fucking forgive what he did to Penny. I sure as fuck can't forgive I can't forgive what he did to Herb. I can't forgive what he did to I can't forgive what he's done to, like, to Diane, to Mr. Peanut Butter, like I said. But with Hollyhock and with how the season is going, it seems like there is genuine change. There is a need and a alert, like how do I say this? Like, there is consciousness in him to try and better himself, to try to be less destructive, to try to just be a good person. And it's because of that even though there are things that I can't forgive him for, and what makes him such an and what makes him such an interesting character to analyze, like to analyze and rant about, it's a character that I continuously find myself thinking, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I don't know how much more of this character can I continue standing, because it's awful to see him think. It's awful to see him like hurt this much that it affects everyone around him. And that's not to his own thing. That's not like, it's not that kind of like inner selfish, like complete selfishness that he is doing this completely all the time. Like, he acknowledges that he is apologetic and he's sorry with his with his friends and with his loved ones. Another prime example was, and again, sorry, but I'm giving the spoiler warning late, when his mother is in a very rundown psych ward, and he's being and he offers the kindness of a nice visualization of the lake house for his mom. He didn't need to do that. He didn't need to, and it was out of the kindness of his own heart that he extends that mercy. And so, beyond that too, just, it's hard to look at how BoJack is as a character and kind of see both sides to it, because the goodness that he does is for his friends. He clearly has a heart and loves his friends dearly, but because of what he has gone through, what he's unfortunately been suffering with, and Mari kind of helped clarify it for me. He is a very heavily coded, if not a confirmed, character with BPD. Understanding just how dangerous all of that affects someone with BPD, who are at their core good people, and it's not their fault when they shouldn't be blamed when a response is given. It's what makes BoJack such a, how do I say this, a tragic character. I have and I know my rant's kind of been everywhere, but basically, just as a tragic character, BoJack is innately just wanting to be good. It's just unfortunate that because of how his life has been, that it's hard for him to do that. And I'm very much looking forward to when I finish the series with her, because I really want to see just how BoJack finds peace. Because as far as I'm concerned, some of the shit that he's done, to himself and to the people around him, it's as Herb says, you can't forgive, I can't forgive you. I can't forgive you for that. I can't forgive you for some of the shit that you do. So here's hoping that BoJack, throughout the series, and again, hopefully it doesn't get spoiled for me, but just hopefully he is able to find peace and just become a better BoJack, and not just the same self-destructive, or not just the same destructive and self-destructive one that he is trying not to be anymore. So to kind of close down, one of my favorite moments of BoJack's thing so far is, or a couple of my favorite moments from BoJack as a character, and how it makes me just love to hate him and hate to love him, is when in this most recent episode recent episode that I watched, where he is essentially addressing his mom after she had passed away, and just laying out his raw and honest feelings, no matter how harmful and sensitive they are to him and his relationship with his mother. It's his like raw honesty. It's confessing that he's in a way glad that she's gone, and in a way you can't blame him for that. After the life that he's had, you can't blame him for being angry. You can't blame him for like not extending his mother mercy. And I frankly don't think anyone can after watching the full series, especially after what had happened with Hollyhock. Fuck that. I sure as fuck wouldn't be okay if like anything relating to my family happened like that. And I sure as fuck wouldn't tolerate anyone who even perpetuates that, because that's like horrible. And I think it's a if you know you know situation. But yeah, again, in summary, and I'd like to get everyone else's opinion on BoJack up to season 5 episode 6, because I haven't seen beyond that. Just he is a character that I fucking cannot stand. And I hope after everything that he's been through finds peace. He can try to redeem himself all he wants, and he has like opportunities to do that, but it's not, I don't think, about trying to right it's not trying to right the wrongs that he has. It's making sure what he's doing right now is right. So that was my BoJack rant.
Brava. I like to hear you get mad, Dean. It's great.
Thank you.
I got three things ish quick. The first one's a joke. Men will literally have a full film career, destroy every meaningful relationship they've had, and take seasons of a TV show to fix their problems when they should probably just go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. I've seen that meme a lot recently, and I love it. Go to therapy, people. Therapy's good for you. Secondly, I've only watched the first season of BoJack, so I don't know a lot of what you're talking about, but I know exactly what you're talking about with the vibes and how he feels. And I want to reference a different show in talking about BoJack, a show called Shameless. I don't know if anyone else has watched that. I haven't watched much of it, just a couple scattering episodes. And BoJack and Shameless belong in a category I like to call misery porn, because that's kind of what they're for, is to take a really dark look at what people can become. It's very interesting. Personally, I don't partake too much of it, despite my insistence that I love dark fantasy. I can't actually stomach too much of these sorts of things. And it references kind of what you were saying about BoJack more than likely has BPD, and I'd even probably say PTSD from some of the shit he's gone through. And to some extent, I think it's great that we can have characters that have these things and we can show their real life struggles. But at what point does showing the struggles of someone who could legitimately have these problems and be like this become misery porn for our entertainment, as opposed to, a cautionary tale or a tale of self-help? Because I've known some people with BPD, and yeah, there are times when things go bad, real bad. But I really can't hate them for it. I have to take it at face value. I have to understand that it's literally an imbalance in their brain that and these people were trying to help work on it. They were going to therapy. They were taking their medications and stuff, right? Sometimes there is nothing you can do. And that's why I have a hard time really stomaching shows like this. To some extent, it's a cautionary tale. To some extent, it's entertainment. And to some extent, it's vilifying people that shouldn't necessarily be vilified. BoJack is still a fantastic character, and the show is amazingly well done, given its cartoony and strangely like 90s cartoon aesthetic. It's with some heavy hitting shit.
Like to speak on the connections between BoJack and BPD. Like obviously I don't have the first-hand experience with it, but I have talked plenty about it with Mari, and it's something that I learned from Mari, and what helps me continue watching BoJack and enjoy it for the character that he is that even when you are in like professional treatment, and you have been for like many years, it can't be cured.
Never goes away.
It never goes away. And there are times where it just affects you and you have no control over that. And you shouldn't be faulted for that, because that's not your fault. It is through imbalances in the brain, chemical imbalances in the brain, or as a result of childhood trauma and abuse. It's things beyond your control happening to you at a young age where you have very little to no control at all. So when you're exposed to so much, when you don't know any better, then in that regard, it's that kind of sympathy that I have for BoJack and for other characters that are written like BoJack, where yes, you may hate their actions, and they are certainly responsible for all of them, but they shouldn't be vilified or demonized for them. It should be taken seriously. Like, it should be taken seriously and with care, I think, because a lot of the time people who have known only self-destructive impulses and harmful tendencies towards their friends and themselves, who's to say if they know any better or not? Who's to say that they haven't tried like coping with it? Who's to say if they've been able to try and approach their mental health with a degree of seriousness? Because they have. I'm sure they have. They've been wanting to try and take care of themselves for years even. And even then, help. In the case of BoJack, even love is hard to like cure something. And it's to my understanding then that you just kind of hope that characters like this find peace, that they're able to like acknowledge that even though what they've gone through may never go away, it's just easier sometimes in the morning to wake up to it and fight it a little bit better. Does that make any sense? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's like with BoJack too, just starting from season 1 and seeing just how much harder and more stress accumulates onto BoJack. And in the case of like one particular example with Sarah Lynn, and Tyler, you haven't met this character yet, but with Sarah Lynn, that is the ultimate case of how willing am I to forgive you for what you've done from what you've done to this other person. And it's so uncomfortable to sit through, because and there are many moments too that are uncomfortable to sit through, but like with Sarah Lynn, because I've brought her up, just it's, well, for those who know, then you kind of know what happened, but it's just so unfortunate.
I don't particularly care about spoilers, so it just depends how much you want to get out, because I'm never going to watch any more of BoJack Horseman. Like I said, can't do misery porn myself.
Fair enough. Well then, yeah, I think I might just keep it like, if you ever do decide to continue, then you'll see. It's just progressively like the series just takes progressively darker turns, and it just becomes more sad, but at the same time it's a reality for a lot of people. And if you're willing to extend sympathy to a character that you don't even know, let alone an anthropomorphic character, then for the people who are like trying their hardest to be caring and to be like healthy, I think. I don't know. Like, I'm sorry that may sound insensitive, but just for those who are genuinely trying to cope with what they've been through and to live a normal life, like, if you're willing to like extend, like if you're willing to see that through the lens of a character like BoJack, then there are people in your life who are struggling just the same, if not harder, and really need your support. That being said, I know that took a bit of a serious turn, so I'm going to try and make a few jokes out of this. Jesus fucking Christ, the shit that BoJack does in this series. Oh my god. I'll applaud Will Arnett for like voicing this character really well, but just, oh my god. Like, some of the well, I guess to kind of like try and change the tone a bit before I pass it off to Gabe, just the wordplay and the jokes are some of the most creative that I think I've ever seen in an animated TV series. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful world full of like color and humor, and they tackle it very well, not just from like animal puns and shit, but just from like serious conversations relating to like the media, to one's personal life, to self-destruction, to all of that. It's so well done. And I've already thank you, Mari, for introducing this to me. I've already thanked her like 100 times already for introducing me to this series, but yeah, that's my rant on BoJack. Gabe, anything on BoJack?
BoJack is a fucking sad series.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
BoJack is fucking sad.
Oh yeah, really. Oh my god. Fuck. I can't forgive what thing as one of many things that is hard to forgive BoJack for. I can't forgive what he fucking did to Todd. Well, there are many things that I can't fucking forgive him for, but just another thing that I can't forgive him for is what he did to Todd. And for those who know, then you know. But Jesus Christ. Anyway, that being said, my BoJack rant is now over. Gabe, you're up.
Yeah, thanks for putting me on after such a serious conversation. I feel a little,
sorry.
Is not a character who you're supposed to dislike. My character is a character who you're supposed to like. My character is a failure of everything. I don't know if y'all heard me typing. I had noise suppression by Crisp turned on. While I was typing out a little script for my incoming ass blasting. This is gonna be a tonal shift, by the way.
Yeah, just the
conversation
is very serious. So let's get ready for Gabe's ass blasting.
The ass
good
blasting.
Warning. Yeah, good warning. Let's put a little screen up that says tonal shift incoming in 3, 2, 1, audience, so we don't like sideblind them with this shit.
Yeah, tonal shift incoming. As soon as this picture uploads to the group chat, y'all see who I'm about to talk about. 3, 2, 1. The ass blasting of Light Turner.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Here's the thing about Light Turner. The thundering dipshit. Light Turner, the wet, stinky doo-doo shit on the original character in the series. Light Turner, the whitewashed, vanilla, beady-eyed, Seattle-living ass little dickhead. Before I get to Light Turner, I have to talk about Light Yagami, and why ultimately, for all its flaws, Death Note the series works because of Light Yagami. 3 words: charisma, scheming, and most importantly, ego. Light Turner possesses none of these. First off, charisma, right out the fucking window. This piece of shit kid is one of the most sniveling, dumb, whiny protagonists I have ever seen in any piece of fiction put to film, ever made. What's insane about Light Turner is that functionally, it doesn't matter that he's different from Light Yagami in this respect. My stance on adaptation, I talked about this a bit in our episode where we talked about adaptations, but my stance on adaptation has basically always been that I could truly give a shit about making changes, but as long as like if they're made by someone who's competent and wants to make changes that they think would be good, better, or different, but in a good way. This is none of those things. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. I don't know why they made these changes. These are bad changes. I have no idea who was thinking of these, who was like, who thought this up. Light Yagami sees Ryuk, and he's initially startled, but he's ultimately already a psychopathic killer by this point. He has agency, and he's compelling. It's incredibly compelling to watch this mad bastard go through this story, just continuing to laugh maniacally and do shit. I don't know, I didn't write this part. Light Turner, conversely, is one of the least interesting characters in any movie. He has barely any agency whatsoever and zero charisma. This motherfucker is not going to charm anybody. He's not going to manipulate anybody. He is actually the one who's manipulated. They took Light Yagami, and whose whole thing in episode 1 of the series is that he finds a death note and immediately becomes a serial killer. Like, no hesitation. He finds out that he has a tool to kill people, and he immediately starts murdering with it. And they took that, and they were like, okay, but what if when he finds the death note, he doesn't know what to do with it at first, and then Ryuk shows up and he tricks him into using it, and then he has to use it to impress a girl he has a crush on. What if we turned Light Yagami into a simp? What if we took this motherfucker and turned him into a fucking simp, and then he proceeds to spend the next nightmarish 2 hours flailing about like a car dealership balloon, screaming like a toddler at Ryuk and not Misa Misa. Scheming is also out. If you ask any Death Note fan what the big draw of the series is, a fucking good goddamn chunk of them will say that it's the goddamn cat and mouse game between L and Light. It's Grandmaster level intelligence, asterisk on that. These Grandmaster level motherfuckers going at it, plotting against each other, having these conversations where they're just bouncing back and forth between trying to prove that they're not that it's not Kira or that it is Kira in these extremely convoluted ways. Barely any of it makes sense, and none of these characters should have this level of insight into each other's mental processes, but it's fucking fun to watch. That's gone. I don't know. Light Turner is not a schemer. He has no plan. There is no cat and mouse game. Some of this is also on Movie L being an extremely lame version of the character who replaces clever reductive reasoning with what is essentially script magic, where he just shows up and is like, yes, Light Turner, Kira is in Seattle and he must be. Also, I think that he's Light Turner. There's no development to how this comes to be. He just kind of knows it. And like, yeah, but enough about L. This is about Light Turner. In their first confrontation, instead of a cat and mouse game, Light pretty much throws a temper tantrum inside this dark lit restaurant, loudly proclaims that he's Kira, but that he can't do anything about it, and then runs away. It's like abstract level arts. It's abstract art levels of stupidity coming out of this motherfucker. But the biggest, most egregious character flaw in Light Turner is the lack of ego. Out of everything, what makes Light Yagami interesting as a villainous protagonist is his ego. And this shit doesn't happen in a vacuum either. Statistically speaking, most serial killers are like very, very dumb on an IQ level. Not to imply that IQ is real. It's not. It was made up by racists. But the few serial killers who are considered highly intelligent, killers like Ed Kemper, they often turn themselves in. And it's because they want to be caught. It's not out of like guilt or a moral crisis, but what pretty much amounts to pride and a lack of recognition. And that's where Light is at for most of the series. I've seen people say shit all the time about the quote unquote mistakes Light makes, like how he deliberately acts on the stuff that he finds in like the police files, or how he kills the Lindell Turner guy in the second episode. How like there's so much shit that he could have done if he didn't have pride, but that's the whole thing. That's the whole act of the series, is that he's this crazy prideful guy who wants to be caught. Deep down, he wants to go down in flames. Light Turner doesn't do any of that shit. He's just stupid. He's stupid, and he simps his way into the position of Kira and then cries about it for 2 straight hours. The ego is gone. There is no wanting to be caught. He barely wants to be a serial killer. He just wants to impress his crush by killing people. Weird flex. All the God complex shit is gone. The word God is not mentioned once in this movie, except for like when they're referring to the god of death. That it's just the Ryuk shit. But other than that, it's irrelevant. It's all there. All the masterminding gone. The evil mind games gone. The villain laughs. I hate using this word. Epic choir and orchestra. It's gone. All of it. There's nothing left. There are some bad adaptations out there, but most of the time there is at least some recognition of like the original form. But here they took everything. It's all gone. Every single thing that anyone liked about Light is stripped away to give way to this fucking dumb, juvenile, bad haircut having, bad clothes wearing, simping, crying, whining, Final Destination ass, emo ass, Hot Topic ass, yee ass weasel. Also, fuck this version of Elle. I know this isn't the character I'm set to be talking about, but fuck, man. They made Elle an emotional kid with anger issues. Anger issues. Elle. Bruh. But yeah, fuck live action Death Note. Fuck everyone who made it. Fuck everyone in it. Except Willem Dafoe's Ryuk. Love you, boo. Fuck Light Turner.
I'm glad you're just as mad about this as I am about The Witcher. It makes me feel vindicated. This is great.
You're just as mad about this as I am about about Borderlands 3, so.
Good shit.
I haven't had a good rant on this channel in a while. I needed to get that out of my system.
Oh my god, I wasn't fucking expecting you were gonna rant about goddamn Light Turner. I remember where I was when I saw this. So I was on vacation with my family, and at around the same time that my sister and I were coming home, or like my family and I were coming home from exploring, we were in LA at the time. We heard that the Death Note movie was out, and we both kind of looked at each other and realized this is not going to be good. And then we saw it anyway, and it proceeded to be the worst fucking thing I think I'd ever seen. Because you're right, it's so boring. And not just a completely like faithless adaptation of Death Note, but just completely disrespectful. Because you have one of the most ego-heavy, I want to say pompous, but just like a very
pompous.
Yeah, a very pompous, very ego-heavy, confident character that is just so unfortunately alluring as a dangerous presence that is just so like you can't help but you can't just help but pay attention to him. Like you can root for him if you want, but you just can't keep your eyes away from him because you're just so fascinated if either what his next move is or if he's gonna get caught. And they're able to build on that suspense throughout the entire like manga and anime. And granted, it's kind of hard to do that in the series of one movie. And oh my god, the way that they did it is just so goddamn. Why? Like, when I heard that it was Willem Dafoe's Ryuk, I was like, okay, that's a good casting choice. And then I find out it's Nat Wolff. Nat Wolff? Goddamn Naked Brothers band Nat Wolff, fucking Paper Towns Nat Wolff. I'm like, no, fucking no. So I saw it, got bored of it, hated everything about it. I hated the fact that now looking back in retrospect, there was nothing for what's her fucking adaptation name like for Misa?
Lisa.
Lisa, yeah. The fact that she just kind of started liking him out of nowhere when you're right, it was the alluring ego and the hypnotic evil that Light
like all this not to say
is.
that Misa Misa was like not to imply that Misa Misa was like an incredibly nuanced or compelling character, but like
you can kind of see just like why it is that someone like Misa would fall for Light Yagami, is because he's just such a powerful presence. Light Turner is like literally so Light Turner, Light Yagami, you would give your lunch money to without any question. Light Turner is the shit you step on the street. No, it's too much. I can't take it. Oh my god.
Funny thing here. So, I've not watched the movie. I've only watched the first season of the anime. Could not stand once L died. I didn't really care too much for Death Note. I'll be entirely honest.
So, what do you mean once L died?
Huh?
There are no episodes past 25. Those don't exist.
I thought not. But here's something real funny. Just hearing y'all talk about it, though I'm sure the movie is absolutely terrible, it sounds like Light Turner is a bit more of a realistic adaptation of what a teenager should be.
Oh, probably.
As opposed to a crazy ego-filled serial killer. But that's not what makes it a good fucking show.
No.
And people need to realize that sometimes, and again, this is coming from a dark fantasy realism nut, sometimes realism is not what you should be striving for, especially when adapting a fucking anime.
That's the thing.
You know what the problem is?
When has there ever been sensibility in anime?
Well, you know what the problem is that I think there is a problem in Hollywood with the word realism, because it's like you just actually brought up a great example, dark fantasy and like the whole grim dark genre. Like, okay, let's like Warhammer 40K as an example. Warhammer 40K is not realistic, but it's fucking insane. But we consider it realistic because it's a much darker story in which like real consequences happen. And there's this fucked up phenomenon in Hollywood where people like realism because realism means realistic consequences. And Hollywood looks at that phenomenon and goes, "Oh, gee, you guys, do you think that people like realism because they like things that are more similar to reality and less dramatic and compelling? Oh, we should do it like that." That's the kind of realism that people like.
Yeah. Fuck Hollywood, though. Fuck
Hollywood.
Fuck Hollywood.
Anyway, yeah, fuck Hollywood. My next character is going to be Hollywood as like a concept.
Oh my god. That'd be a fun thing. You know what? No, fucking if we're for next season, or maybe just as a special, let's just all rant about something.
We'll call it the Ink Guild monologues, where everybody gets to rant about a specific topic.
Sounds like fun.
Oh my god.
Brain blast. But let's get back on topic. No more talking about next season. We're not there yet.
We just started this season.
Yeah, right? But no, like I said, I've only watched the first season, the only season of Death Note. Sorry. And it wasn't that compelling to me personally, just not my cup of tea. But I see why it's such a very big and pronounced thing, and I see why a lot of people do like it. I can definitely see that. And I can also see why this whitewashed piece of shit is not a good movie and not a good character.
You know what the thing is? I just want to say this before my turn is. I don't actually like adore Death Note to the amount that it would seem from how much I hate the live action movie, because that probably made it seem like I'm like a. The thing is, I don't necessarily love Death Note, but like I have an appreciation of what Death Note does, and I watch Death Note. It's one of those things where it's like I can watch it and I'm like, I totally get like where people are coming. Like if someone told me Death Note is my favorite anime, I'd be like, dude, I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, and I can point out like here and here what is well done about it. And all of that is gone in the live action one. It's so bizarre.
It's the same for me with The Witcher. It's not my favorite. I wouldn't necessarily recommend people to read it. But if you say, "Oh, this is my favorite book series," or "Oh, this is my favorite video game series," I'd be like, "Yeah, 100%." I could tell you why it's good. But the adaptation, fuck that.
All right, Gabe. Anything else to add?
No, I think I've said my piece on this little whitewashed dickhead.
Sounds good. All right, Marie-Soleil, you're up.
Hi. So I talked about vampires before, and now I'm going to the zombies. Or, well, not really zombies, but the zombie slayers. The books are Alice in Zombieland. And the main male character, Cole Holland, is just toxic masculinity in a 17-year-old boy.
Oh, God.
The first time you meet him, he's with this group of, like, the bad kids at the school. There's a couple of them with ankle monitors. All of them have, like, it's described that these guys, they show up to school with, like, bruises and bandages. They're all, like, rough and tumble, getting into fights. Every one of them has been, like, in trouble with the law, apparently. At least that's what the rumor mill spreads around. And Cole is the leader of this group and the love interest of the main character, Allie. The author does the thing where the male character can have, and it's literally described in the book as a harem of ex-girlfriends. They explain he lost his virginity when he was like 12 or 13 years old to a friend of his mother's, and he doesn't see anything wrong with that until Allie points out, well, how would you feel if I told you that I lost my virginity when I was 12 years old to a friend of my father's? And he realizes that that's a little that's upsetting. But it also does the thing where, like, yeah, it describes how he's been with a bunch of girls. He's had romantic relationships in the past, but he's not going to have sex with Allie because she's not 18 yet, and she's never even kissed a boy before they met. What the fuck? Yeah. And then every time there's a problem in their relationship, and it doesn't even need to be an actual problem in the relationship because this is in a fantasy setting where, like, they are destined to be together, and every time, like, it's a plot point that when their relationship is good, the first time they meet each other's eyes in the morning, they have a weird vision. This has never happened to anybody before. This is part of why their futures are entwined. That's how they know it. They have these visions. But every time, even if, like, the vision shows Allie getting hurt or something negative happening to her, he breaks up with her. Because he can't stand to see her get hurt because of him, even though he's not the cause of any of this. And then when she's trying to figure out her past and who she is, when she finds out that the woman, her adoptive mother, the woman she believed to be her mother, was actually her second cousin who married her biological father before he knew that, like, Allie existed. Her mom, like, took off when she was pregnant, basically. And then comes back and gives him this, like, 7-year-old child whose memories have been wiped because supernatural fantasy stuff. So she's trying to figure out her past and why she is connected to this evil organization that is killing her friends and, like, murdered her grandfather. He gets all offended because the ghost of the woman who killed his mother is giving her advice. And breaks up with her because she won't stop talking to this person.
Oh my god.
And it's, if I remember correctly, like, he never actually admits to doing anything wrong in these scenarios. It all goes back to the fact that I couldn't live with myself if you got hurt because of me. Is always his motivation for why he ends it with her. And then, even when they're broken up, he's always getting into fights with anybody else who shows interest in her. He's so toxically overprotective and controlling, and it's just not a healthy relationship at all. They are, like, she's 16 or 17 when they meet, and he's, like, 17 or 18. And then they end up, like, getting married. The author has written a little short story of their marriage in the future, but their relationship is still so toxic. Mm-hmm. And I understand, like, high school relationships aren't always the healthiest, but, like, come on. At least show some character development. At least show some emotional growth. And Alice, the book series has so many problems that I could go off. Same with the House of Night. Like, there are so many things about it, but just your main romantic couple that actually survives till the end of it have this much toxicity in them, you're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That whole, like, gotta fix the bad boys issue is just so prevalent in teen media, and it makes me wonder, like, what were these authors' relationships like that this is the one that they're espousing their main character should get into? Have you had a healthy relationship in a while? Do you need help? Therapy? A hug?
It's the entire time that I'm thinking about this, and to expand on what you said, Tyler, about like the dangerous fix the bad boy type. Fuck that. Fuck that so much. If you see a grease fire, you don't start fucking roasting marshmallows with it. You fucking put it out. And
yeah. Kill bad boys. Got it. Put them in grease fires.
That's not what. No, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. In game.
Kill the bad boys in game.
Roast them on grease fires in game.
Be like, hey, toxic masculine boys, I have someone you want to meet. Have you ever heard of Guillotine-chan?
Yes! Guillotine-chan!
Just, I hate that trope so much. And, like, how long is this story? Like, when was this story published recently, this series?
So, there are 4 books in the main series, and then a couple spin-offs. Let me just...
To speak on this, because I haven't obviously read it. Well, she's looking it up. She has told me the entire story of this series, and it's a fucking fever dream. Like, she had to pick a bad character to talk about, but like...
She had to pick... Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's a fever dream, this entire story, what she's told. There's ghosts and sort of zombies and a lot of, like, astral projection memory fuckery shit with, like, experiments on kids. Like, it's wild.
So it was originally published in 2012.
Oh my god.
So this is recent trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
and
oh my god.
Like I said, she's communicating with the ghost of, and this is a spoiler, she's communicating with the ghost of her biological mother, who was working for the big bad evil corporation, and they're the ones that killed her boyfriend's mother, but it was her mother that warned. So her mother went and warned his father that this was going to happen, but he took that as just her taunting him. So they blamed her for the death of Cole's mom. And then Cole gets all pissy because Allie is talking to her dead mother's ghost. He doesn't even tell her why he doesn't want her talking to this ghost at first.
Oh my god.
You know, I'm glad literacy is a thing and anyone who wants to can write, but maybe some people shouldn't.
I agree. Just, you know what? Let's compile. We still have plenty of time on this podcast. Let's compile a list of things that should not be in like literature anymore. Forbidden love, get that fucking out of here.
Toxic masculinity is loud, but only if it's not a fucking love interest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not do the I'm your father trope anymore. Let's not do the pseudo incest we might be siblings trope anymore, please.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I found out that the Mortal Instruments was originally a Harry Potter fanfiction.
Oh no!
It's there are debates about it either being Ron Ginny / or Ginny Draco.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
I keep forgetting that's
I'm
a
gonna
thing in
vomit.
Mortal Instruments. I've never read it. Oh.
I'm gonna vomit. You know what? I have all of the I have all of the books up to City of Lost Souls. I've only ever read the first 2. It's been years since I've read the first 2. Do you guys want to set those books on fire?
Okay, so So, here's the thing about the Mortal Instruments. I actually didn't mind the first three. I didn't. And it's actually because of the Christian mythology world building that went into it that I actually quite enjoyed it. I could give a shit about the love triangle and all that stuff. Clarissa, she was actually a moderately okay character. Jace was annoying as hell. Alec was actually really good, and so was Magnus. For a gay romance in a YA novel, fantastically done, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
However, after that, the author really loses her fucking way. But we're not talking about the Mortal Instruments and what the hell Cassandra Clare is doing for money at this point in time.
If we are ever going to do that, we need Alex.
Yes, I agree.
Didn't we do a Cassandra Clare episode?
Yeah, they and I did, but that was a while ago. It was focusing more like they and I talked mostly about Cassandra Clare's works as a whole. We focused primarily, we focused on like Mortal Instruments, Infernal Devices, and the newest one, or in the newest series. But if it's strictly Mortal Instruments, we need them on. Because they have better knowledge of this than I do. So if they want, they can lead that episode. But oh god, that's another thing onto the official InkGuild list of things that should not be in literature anymore. Love triangles. Get those the fuck out of there.
Oh. Wait.
So this is going to come up when I talk about my character just a little bit. I don't like love triangles, but you want to know something I would totally accept and would get me and my vote every time? A love triangle that ends in polyamory, because I've never seen it done in modern media.
Mm-hmm.
Marie-Soleil, go ahead.
I was going to say, if it's an actual love triangle, that could be interesting. But the most we see are like love V's, where there's like a character, typically a female character, and then two guys that are both interested in her, but the two guys hate each other because they've got the rivalry thing.
Yeah, that's not a triangle.
Yeah.
Love triangle, though, the two guys would also be interested in each other.
Edward and Jacob need to fuck.
Agreed.
Hunger Games would have been a lot more interesting if Gale and Peter.
Yes.
Yes.
I get that they're supposed to hate each other, but come on, Suzanne Collins, haven't you ever heard of hate fucking? Jesus.
Yes, especially the second one where Katniss goes to the Hunger Games herself, leaving Peeta home alone. God, him and Gale just railing each other while Katniss is fighting for her life. Fuck yeah.
The Hunger Games.
I know he goes to the Hunger Games to do,
but it would have been better if he stayed.
But it would have been better if he'd stayed home and gotten railed.
It's just Haymitch and Katniss in the Humber Games arena. I forget what it's called. The arena.
Humber Games.
Gale is just fucking going to town on.
No, Gale's the bottom, please.
Gale's the bottom?
Peeta's top material.
I can't. I cannot.
From the first Hunger Games.
No.
Peeta cannot be the top. There's no way.
He'd be putting that bun in the oven, you know. He'd be baking that bun.
Do know.
I'm being hit because of that comment. I hope it was worth it, Tyler. It was, other Tyler.
There's only one of you.
Anyway, so we've got way off topic.
Tyler still has a character to talk about.
Yes, Tyler. Are you ready?
If you're done, babe.
I could go off about this some more, like including the fact that she's
gonna go off about it more, is what she's saying.
Just one more point. If somebody spreads a rumor about your sort of girlfriend that she had an orgy with you and your buddies, you actually defend her. You don't just ignore it. Because that is something that happened in the book.
Incorrect. I look at my girlfriend and go, hey, do you want to have an orgy with my buddies? That actually sounds like it would have been kind of hot.
Well, yeah, but stating that means it didn't already happen.
Ah, I see.
See, I would have been angry I wasn't invited. That would have been the problem. That would have been the real schism in the relationship.
All right, Gabe is currently on the orgy list.
Yes!
Who else is on this list?
So far, just Gabe.
You need
Wait.
like at least 4 or 5 people.
That's not an orgy.
Wait, no,
That's
I'm
not an orgy. That's a threat.
I'm organizing the orgy. Did I say I was participating? Anyway,
Tyler's just there getting the nachos.
I'm a great host, guys. You need nachos, maybe some lube.
Condoms.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, safety first.
Anyways,
What the fuck is wrong with me? When I said safety first, I can imagine fucking hard hats being at the orgy.
Construction
Sorry, babe.
roleplay? Construction kink? Hell yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, babe. The light up vest stays on.
I am reminded entirely of that one scene of Malcolm in the Middle where the parents are about to get diddly. Where the parents are about to get diddly, and she's like, "No, keep the tool belt on." That's what I'm reminded of.
Okay.
Anyways. All right. Moving on to Tyler's rage. Let's see if I scream about this one. So, I like Satan as a concept and a figure in mythology and religion. Very interesting. I've obviously read a lot on the subject. However, his representations in media are usually unbelievably lackluster. Now, I may have made my name this, and I could talk about every possible representation of Satan because they're almost all bad, but I'm going to speak about a specific one, which is Lucifer Morningstar from the Netflix series The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is a retelling and adaptation, I don't even know, of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So, talking on the show as a whole really quickly, I didn't mind season 1, and season 2 was kind of okay. 3 and 4, they shit the goddamn bed really, really hard. There's some solid representation in the show, but it's overshadowed by bad writing, poor plot, and an overall weak ending to any season, especially the series finale. Lucifer plays a pseudo-prominent role in Season 1 and definitely in Season 2. Sabrina is going to be inducted as a witch in the Church of the Night, which is a satanic witches' church. There are no other types of witchcraft in the universe in Season 1 and 2. It is only satanic witchcraft. They're sticking with Christian mythology, but for Season 3 and 4, they change that up and add in pagan and Lovecraftian mythologies. For some reason, again, they were just losing their way as writers. Lucifer is Sabrina's father, revealed, I believe, at the end of Season 1 or close to the beginning of Season 2, somewhere in there. And he isn't fully seen, I believe, until midway or beginning of Season 2. It's been a minute since I've watched it. It's hard for me to talk about this as a character that's bad. The actor didn't seem like he was into the role, made Satan kind of seem lazy. They did a kind of good job of making him, again, supposed to look angelic. He is a very attractive man that wears like a golden robe most of the time. It's like ripped as hell, which is okay, I guess. My problem with the characterization comes in just kind of how bland and stereotypical it is. Satan's the bad guy once again when we're supposed to be watching a group of satanic witches go about their lives. And even in the first season, it talks about how Satan is representing of gender equality, and this whole temple and church idea is meant to be more accepting than regular religions, which resonates with me as an actual member of the Temple of Satan here, IRL, not in-game, because that's actually the messages that we try to send. Our temple is extremely open to absolutely fucking anyone, and we're not restrictive at all in our memberships and things like that. But then to see Satan be literally a villainous misogynist, not espousing any of the ideals, and them actually in the end of season 2 move entirely away from the worship of Satan to be like, oh, it's just like organized religion. It's just like any other. Church bad, church bad, church bad is the message they shove down your throat really fucking hard. And again, trying to just keep this more talking about Lucifer, despite the fact that, again, he's supposed to have given this entire group power, all the witches within these temples, power. He's shown as quite weak in comparison to some of the other things in universe. His power is flimsy. They lose it at one point in time. They get it back somehow. They get a different power from somebody else in their belief. But they make such hardcore Christian analogies in the first little bit and being like, oh, Satan was misunderstood. Satan's not the bad guy. And then it turns out, no, he still is. And I'm really fucking tired of this narrative. Like, really goddamn tired of it. Goddamn it's funny, because funny. But that's also a complaint I have on the whole show, which I'll just speak a little bit more on because it's hard for me not to. They start off really strong. These people are not bound by Christian societal ideologies. There's plenty of polyamory. There's lots of casual sex. There's orgies. These people worship the fucking devil, okay? They're not necessarily evil, but they're magical, they're egotistical, they've got pride, and they live by sins of life and pleasure and decadence. And then as the series progresses, they just get more and more Christian. One of the best characters, his name is Ambrose Spellman. He's Sabrina's cousin. Starts off as a very dramatic, very fun pansexual hedonist who slowly gets more focused and turns into more of a good guy in the series the more monogamous he gets. Until the end, he basically just has a fucking romance arc with one person where they basically just swear vows of purity to each other. And I'm like, again, we started off so strong, but the moral you're sending out is, once again, this belief system of hedonisticness and revelry is bad. Don't do it. Even Sabrina gets her bad boy boyfriend, who is, once again, a casual sex-loving hedonist, who eventually goes out and gets a demonic STD. Don't know how much more you want to say having casual sex is bad than giving someone a demonic STD, and ends up monogamous with this guy at the very end, at the end of the world. And it's just a greater issue that I have with the whole series, but it really personifies itself in Lucifer in that, once again, you better follow those moral lessons, kids and watchers. Otherwise, you're going to end up in a bad place because there's only one way to live. And even in a show about satanic witches, we're going to teach you this message too.
Ew. Ew.
It's...
God.
It was a rough one for me. It really was. Because it had so much promise off the start. So much promise.
God damn it, Hollywood. Don't be fucking cowards.
Oh, yeah. Don't be cowards. That's a big, big part of it. Hey, they even had like a couple angels show up at one point in time as an antagonist for like an episode or two there. Oh, and they did the kill your gaze trope.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
Yeah, Ambrose has a boyfriend that gets murdered, and it's his motivation for like a whole of half a season before he forgets the guy even exists.
Oh my God.
Let's not forget that the boyfriend that I was talking about, the one that turns to a good guy because he's monogamous with Sabrina, gets possessed by the devil for a little bit, which is really weird. Your dad possessing your boyfriend. Anyways. But yeah, there's issues all over this show. So much promise. I realize the devil is everyone's favorite villain. He's the original villain in some contexts, if we're going back 1,600 years. But that just means the trope is really old. Really, really old. Like, excessively old compared to other tropes. Can we not? Can we not? Just a little bit. Can we not? Especially because, like, there's a statue. Oh, now I'm getting into real world theology. One moment, everybody. There's a statue in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina that's put up in the center of the Church of Night. It's the demon Baphomet with two children standing beside him, and he's doing the typical pose. That's actually taken from my temple. That's our statue that the show wanted to use for it, and they did. And then they destroy it.
They also dealt with a lawsuit, or Netflix had a lawsuit in regards to it.
Yeah. So they took our statue and were like, yeah, we're going to have a show about satanic witches. Can we use your statue? And they were like, yeah. And then they, decided not to stick with that narrative at all. And ended up, they didn't destroy the actual statue. They destroyed, obviously, a replica. But yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks, you fucking cowards.
Oh my god.
Questions, concerns. I tried not to go in too much of a theology round, but anyways. Worst representation of the devil I have ever seen. And I refuse to watch the Lucifer TV show. Satan is not a detective that runs around solving crimes. I'm sorry.
Satan is not a cop.
So
whoever made Satan a fucking cop?
Yeah, who made Satan a goddamn cop?
Okay, I'd like to point out, as somebody who's seen a couple episodes of the Lucifer TV show, my mom really likes it. He's not a cop. He's running a nightclub, and the actual police officer, cop, detective lady, she's the only one his powers don't work on, so he was really confused by that, and he started helping her with her investigations because, he wanted to figure out, why don't my powers work on you? And then I think he fell in love with her. It's still really, weird and probably not a good representation, but he's not a cop.
He's helping cops.
Yeah, but he's not following the actual laws when he's doing so.
Oh, so he's your flippant expert detective with a disdain for authority? Wow, that's not overdone at all.
I didn't say it's a good representation.
I've read the graphic novels that it's based off of. It's... Talk about a good representation of Lucifer is actually Lucifer from his own graphic novel series, which is based off of Sandman. That's the Lucifer that the TV show is supposedly based off of. Good representation there. Pretty okay. Also, what are Lucifer's motivations in Sabrina? I don't know. Does anyone know? Doesn't seem like he's trying to take over the world at all. So far, it just seems like he's really fucking with his teenage daughter's life for some reason, because he has nothing better to do. Questions, comments, concerns. Once again, not about my mental health. Make hedonism a valid form of life, cowards. Why is Hollywood, of all places, run by hardcore Christian morality? I don't get it.
I fucking know, right?
That's so backwards to what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why does Hollywood still exist? Why haven't we nuked it? Or no, not that. Why haven't we non-violence?
Non-violent.
Why haven't we peed in front of every Hollywood building? That's non-violent.
That's a sex crime.
We
can't suggest that either.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Like a boulevard. Anyways, nothing against Christian theology and Christian morality practice. That's perfectly fine if that's the way you want to live your life. However, in a show that's supposed to be not about that, for once, I would like to see stuff not about that, for once.
We're long past the Christian religion being the dominant presence over everything. Just please. The last time there was a strong influence over art, or the last time there was a very strong presence of religion in art, the artwork was bad. Fuck you, Dark Ages.
Lol. I mean, the Renaissance kind of went off with the murals, though.
That was the Renaissance, though. They were embracing a little bit more than that.
It's true. It's true. Ugh. Anyways. Yeah. Sabrina show. Watch the first season. Watch literally no more.
Watch the animated series. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Netflix series.
Yeah, Salem's still best cat.
Mm-hmm.
Salem still's a good kitty. Yeah, watch it, actually. Watch Sabrina. Skip over almost all of Sabrina's parts. Some of the side characters and their stories are pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. I'm going to leave off there before I launch into more theocratic discourse. And Sabrina, Lucifer's a bad character, poor representation, flat as fuck, and it has zero motivation to seemingly do anything that he does.
Mm-hmm.
Rejoice. I am done.
Okay. Well, I think that was all of our primaries, like case studies / picks. Is everyone good with that?
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
Because we do still have round 2 of dishonorable mentions, if there are any more to mention. Because I was thinking of plenty, but anyway. Yeah, I think if we're all good to start signing off and get to the end, then let's do that. So it is 10:20 for us here when we started recording it. It's almost 10:20, so we'll start signing off, everybody. So thanks everyone for listening in. We are at the Ink Guild on YouTube, Spotify. We are the Ink Guild on YouTube. We are the Ink Guild Podcast on Spotify. We're at the Ink Guild on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We are also the Ink Guild on Tumblr, and for all of our links, you can always check out our Wix site, where you can find not just our links to our social media pages, but previous videos of the podcast, the shorthand series, the some special videos here and there, and to keep a... Oh my god, I'm kind of going everywhere with this. To keep a better track of us, just subscribe to us. Let us know what you think about our content in the description below on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, or reach out to us on social media if you've found us and enjoy our content. But otherwise, that's about it. Let's get into our closing segment, which is Dishonorable Mentions Part 2. And I think some of you guys may have had a couple to prepare. I'm gonna need to take like a minute to assemble up a quick list.
Okay, I can go first if you want, because I have the second half of my list from before. Mm-hmm. That was only half my list at the start.
Oh god. Yeah, go ahead.
I have Racist Lorry Driver from Disco Elysium, Endurance from Disco Elysium, Fascist Harry from Disco Elysium, Gary the Crypto Fascist from Disco Elysium, Devila and Popola from Nier, William Afton from Five Nights at Freddy's, Makuta from Bionicle, The Paraka from Bionicle, Liquid Snake from Metal Gear Solid, The Prophet of Truth from Halo, Gendo Ikari from Evangelion, Asuka from Evangelion, Ritsuko from Evangelion, Katana Man from Chainsaw Man, The Gun Devil from Chainsaw Man, the Doctor from Gyo, the movie version of Scott Pilgrim, the movie version of Ramona Flowers, The Anti-Spiral from Gurren Lagann, Flowey from Undertale, and Justin from Belle, a movie I'm going to be talking about in a future episode, who's a character who, I shit you not, has a doxing gun.
That's a doxing gun.
So I'll give a brief rundown on this basic on what that is. So Belle takes place. It's like a metaverse thing, and the main villain has a beam that he's a laser beam that he shoots at you, and it doxes you.
Define dox in this world.
So the whole thing is that it's like an anonymous metaverse, but it reveals who the real user is behind the avatar, and he doxes you. I don't think it gives your location, but it's the doxing gun.
Poof,
it's so funny.
Damn. All right. I got a few on my list. However, Gabe, I noticed you listed basically the entire cast of Disco Elysium.
I did not.
You're getting there. As well as quite a few Neon Genesis Evangelions. Good shit. Might I suggest a few of the members of the Warhammer 40,000 cast, specifically 2 of the Primarchs, Lorgar The word bearer. My dad told me not to make him a god, so I made him a god and wrote a book about it. Wow, dude. Wow. And Magnus One Eye. Dad told me not to use this special portal, but I have an emergency and I really want to talk to him about it. Let's use this special portal. Oh my god, there's demons in here. I wonder why Dad told me not to use it. Fuck. Fucking Magnus. Warhammer 40k lore. It's a trip, by the way. Who else was I thinking of recently? I can't remember now. Yeah. I think I already mentioned Faustus Blackwood in the Sabrina show, but I have to mention him again because he was a huge part of the problem I found with that whole bit of morality arguing. Now, he ended up being a really hardcore misogynistic prickbag who turns the entire Church of Satan into the Church of Judas, where women are supposed to be subservient, which is a fantastically vile villain. But he's just so annoying. I can't actually hate him for the reason I'm supposed to hate him, because he's just annoying. There's a couple of mine.
If nobody else will go, I'll go now.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll go last.
Cool. So, pretty much every adult in Harry Potter except for Hagrid. I'm including the Weasleys in this. Lestat from Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah,
Am I saying his name right? Lestat?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's completely fair.
That's the rest of my list at the moment. There's probably more that just aren't coming to mind at the moment. If you want, I can list off the individual characters from Harry Potter, but that would take the rest of the night.
First name on that list, J.K. Rowling.
Yes! Last name on that list is actually Voldemort.
Actually, though. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, continue.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Marie-Soleil, when you're ready, I can go.
You can go, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we don't need me listing off all of the Harry Potter characters who did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Who did Ron?
Wrong!
Oh, I thought that was just Hermione.
I said wrong, you idiot! Your ears cleaned.
No.
And it's also lavender.
Continue. Yes.
Since we're on Harry Potter, I just want to say a big fuck you to every single interpretation of a Harry Potter character in that one god-awful My Immortal fanfiction. Just want to put that out there. That was fucking awful. What the hell were you thinking? Fuck the big tech company from Don't Look Up. I'm on my Netflix account now, so I can see. Fuck Geass, obviously from Arcane. We did a big episode on that, or we did a whole big episode on Arcane. You should watch it. It's good. What else? Fuck the thing. Fuck the obvious characters that are deserve to be hated from Squid Game. Fuck most of the characters in Throne of Glass except for Manon and Elide. I feel this bears repeating, but fuck the Darkling from Shadow and Bone. Good villain in the show and in the books. Kind of everywhere in the books. And anyway, fuck almost everyone from Skyrim that isn't the... Yeah, just fuck everyone from Skyrim. Something about their NPCs isn't aging well much anymore. And
I've got a really honorable mention if you're gonna clean up here. I got one more.
Go.
Fuck that one guy in Oblivion that's directly across from you in the cells when you start the game. He is programmed to have some kind of racist saying no matter what race you are when you start Oblivion, and there's a really fantastic Dark Brotherhood quest where you get to sneak back into that prison and kill him, and fuck that one dude.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastically designed video game callback, that one.
if we're talking about video game characters and like things in general, fuck the Institute from Fallout 4. Just the fuck were you thinking?
Also, fuck the Brotherhood from Fallout 4.
Yeah,
fuck the Brotherhood from Fallout 3 for an entirely different reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fuck the Enclave from Fallout 1 and 2. And 3, I guess.
That's not the Enclave.
I've got one that might be a little controversial.
What?
Oh.
Fuck Superman and Supergirl from the New 52.
Fuck the New 52.
Yeah.
Fuck the New 52. I don't know much about the New 52, but apparently it's a mess.
Mm-hmm.
I this is probably gonna reignite something in Tyler, but just I don't have the heart in me to say it, but after the Witcher episode, fuck a lot of characters from The Witcher. I have my favorites, but I acknowledge some of the things from after that episode where I'm like, yeah, that's right. I can't look at this anymore. I think I can't think about that.
Glad to have ruined something for you, Dean.
Yeah, thanks.
I do apologize. Yeah, I think those are my honorables.
Do I have more? Hold on. Just that thing.
Starscream from Transformers. I love Starscream, but fuck Starscream from any Transformers ever.
He's so whiny.
He's so whiny, and he's so perfectly done as a whiny little shit, but that's the point.
If we're talking about if we're gonna talk about Transformers as kind of an off note, fuck the new TMNT movies. I hate your look. I'm not one to judge thing. I'm not one to judge thing. I'm certainly not one to judge people's bodies, but I am one to judge like really awful animated CGI turtles. No. Just no. If we're talking since we were talking about Encanto, fuck Maui up until maybe the halfway point where he starts redeeming himself.
All the character, that one, I do agree. Yeah, that was really well done. I quite like that show.
Yeah. Brooke, Lee, if you guys have been listening in on this, do you guys have any other final dishonorable mentions, or?
I've got one more, and this one's a real hot one because it's kind of a real person.
Okay.
Fuck Dorian Storm. I'm being hit.
Critical Role.
Yeah, Critical Role. The Blue Bard. God, he's whingy and annoying. I only liked him one time in any of the recent episodes, and that was when he got angry and vindictive, and then it subsided really quickly. And not to diss too much player, but boy, does he try and insert himself real hard when other people are having scenes, and I can't fucking take it. If he was at my table, we'd be having a chat. Lee, you're here.
Yes. Phasma from the Star Wars.
Oh God.
What was it, sequel trilogy? Yeah. Terrible character. Could have done so many more beautiful things with her. And then they dropped her down an elevator shaft.
Oh God.
No, because here's the thing, she had an entire comic series off after New Hope happened, and it was a beautiful comic series about how she randomly chose a guy who was going to take the fall for her fuck up and then hunted them across the galaxy and then forced them to take the consequences for her. And that was beautiful. And then they brought her up in the second movie. I was like, okay, this is gonna be really cool. And then she just went down like a punk.
Oh.
Ooh.
I know he's a real person, but fuck Walt Disney.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
He's dead. You're not real if you're dead.
His corporation is, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hold on. Fuck Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey Mouse.
Fuck Jughead Jones from the Riverdale series.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you noticed, but
I think that might be it for me. I have no more dishonorable mentions.
Oh, fuck the two twins from Dishonored.
Valid.
Also, like the whole loyalist crew from the first Dishonored. Fuck every one of them.
They are kind of a trash heap.
Also, I just realized Dishonored is, playing into the whole idea that monarchy good. But anyways, it was still a good game.
Mm-hmm. I bought it. I bought it recently. I can't wait to play it.
We can discuss that after episode.
yeah.
Do.
Okay. Well, yeah. I think. Are we all good with honorable mention or dishonorable mentions?
Yeah.
Gabe, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. So, moral of the story, and I'm not ever gonna do these again. So just it's a once in a thing. My God, we have come up with so many different PowerPoints for future seasons. Like Marie-Soleil, you've got yours.
Yep.
Tyler, I feel like you could just do all of The Witcher again as a PowerPoint. That'd be hilarious.
All of it would be in caps lock. There would be so many exclamation points. No.
Gabe, I think I know you said you didn't want to do as many PowerPoints, but a Disco
I didn't say
Elysium
that.
one.
I love doing PowerPoints. When did I say I don't want to do PowerPoints? When did I ever say that?
You said you wanted to challenge.
You,
you said you wanted to not do as many PowerPoints. You didn't want to just do PowerPoints.
If I said that, I was a liar.
Yeah, a Disco Elysium PowerPoint.
I was just about to say, yeah, a Disco Elysium PowerPoint. Because I need to make clear that I do not hate all or even most of the characters in that game.
Yeah, so lots of potential here with the InkGuild Podcast, and hopefully everyone who's been listening, please stick around because we'd love to have you join us. But yeah, with that all being said, I think we'll wrap up for tonight. So thanks everybody, and have a good night.
Bye.
But
Bye.